This podcast is sponsored by Pogo, property operations on the go. Facility managers know how challenging it can be to keep everything running smoothly. That's why Pogo was created, a white-labeled software solution designed by property managers for property managers. Pogo is your ultimate all-in-one platform for managing multiple assets. With Pogo, you communicate with your tenants, manage maintenance requests, control property access, manage bookable spaces, and much more. Plus, with advanced analytics, Pogo empowers you to optimize your operations anytime, anywhere. The best part? Pogo is completely customizable to fit your brand and business. Simplify your operations, enhance tenant satisfaction, and save money with Pogo. Ready to make the switch? Visit gopogo.us to schedule your demo today. Pogo, one system, multiple solutions at your fingertips. Welcome, everyone, to Real Opportunity. Today, I'm excited to have Court Jeske here with us, talk all about soccer. Court, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. We'll talk soccer, but we'll also talk all things sports in OKC as well.
Man, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So Court, I actually just met you a couple of years ago, and I didn't realize you're actually from Tulsa. Tell us how you got from Tulsa into the soccer world and back to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, no, great question. I love sharing my story the last year and a half that I've been back here working in the state that I love. I grew up in Tulsa, Broken Arrow specifically. Loved all sports, including soccer, and I played soccer, football, and basketball in high school. So you played soccer in high school? Yeah.
Were you any good?
But to know special talent, trust me.
Okay, guys.
Probably the coaches were looking for other people to get as much time as they were me.
So do they call you the Rudy of soccer?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was the Rudy, but let's just say that it was going to end in high school.
Okay,
that was where it was going to end. And
I get it, trust me.
I enjoyed it and I loved it. I loved football, I loved basketball, I loved everything. With my parents growing up, sports were a big part of my life. And I then went to the University of Oklahoma. So I went to undergraduate at the University of Oklahoma, and I was getting a business degree. And I emailed a gentleman by the name of Joe Castiglione 3 times. And I love to tell Joe this story, who, for those of you that don't know out there, is the athletic director at OU and has been there for 26 or 27 years, I think, at this point. And I encourage people in their careers, young people in their careers, I said, sometimes it's persistence. And both of my parents were in the medical fields in Tulsa. My mom was a dietitian at St. Francis, and my dad was a family practice doctor. And I thought maybe I want to go into medicine, but wasn't that good at biology. So I thought, what if I could mirror sports with the business side that I like?
Yeah.
And so then I thought, what if I could get actual experience at the OU athletic department? And after 3 emails, finally, Joe forwarded my email to someone else and said, can you deal with this guy? Because he keeps emailing me. So I tell students and people that literally my first job in this industry was stuffing envelopes to send to donors.
At the University of Oklahoma?
At the University of Oklahoma. And I was a volunteer. I volunteered 6 hours a week.
Did you actually get any responses to your emails that you sent?
Yeah, I think we were asking for $100 checks, and there wasn't really email or online portals at that time, so we probably got some back. But I did that well enough that kind of grew.
Yeah.
And so then they said, "Hey, would you work for us? More than a few hours a week, and we can pay you." I think it was $4.75 an hour, which I was
$4.75.
How
old are you, Court?
I was 20 years old and a student at Oklahoma, and it was 2000.
Yeah.
So the year that we won the national title.
Wow.
So, donations went up, not because of my letters, but because winning the national title will do that for you.
It always helps.
Yeah, letters help.
Yeah.
So that launched me into a career in sports, and I'm eternally thankful to Joe and so many other mentors that I've had that have given me a chance. I went from there and I worked in a place well, Kansas City, working for the Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas City Wizards, selling tickets.
Kansas City Wizards?
So the Wizards.
Who are the Wizards?
Yeah, so the Wizards back in the day were the Major League Soccer team that was owned by the Kansas City Chiefs, by the Hunt family.
So the Hunt family, okay.
Yep, the Hunt family owned
both.
And
the Hunt family today still owns the Chiefs, correct?
They still own the Chiefs, and they also own the MLS team in Dallas.
Okay.
Major League Soccer team in Dallas called FC Dallas. But Clark and Dan Hunt, just lovely people. But that experience there, that time in Kansas City, taught me that, hey, I also love international sports. And I like the idea, while I love American football, I love basketball, everything, wouldn't it be cool if I could find a job that could take me around the world in sports?
Wow.
And so for that meant soccer, right? The two biggest global sports are soccer and the Olympics, and those come around every 4 years, and you have leagues, federations, opportunities there. So at that point I said, Court, if you want to have an international job, you need to focus on soccer. And so that's what I did. I went and worked in Chicago at the U.S. Soccer Federation for the men's and women's national team. So that was, our teams competing in the World Cup, the Olympics, etc. And it was a really cool time. There was a player on the female side named Mia Hamm, which was a global superstar, probably more famous abroad than she actually was in the U.S.
Was it Mia known for winning the Olympics and pulling her shirt off?
That was her teammate, Brandy Chastain.
Brandy
but
did that.
They were both on that team.
They're both on the team. Okay.
And what you're referencing is in 1999, there was an amazing Women's World Cup final at the Rose Bowl that had, record attendance, record viewership, et cetera. It really started this whole catalyst of women's sports, which we'll talk about and how that applies to OKC. So all this was starting to swirl around and happen. And I felt very fortunate to work for the U.S. men's and women's national team at the time that it was still pretty much a fledgling sport here, both from a professional league standpoint and from a national team standpoint. After that, did my graduate work with FIFA, which is the international governing body in Europe, and spent some time over there kind of picking up a lot of experiences and tools across Europe of how they do soccer, how they do sports business, what are the unique things of how it's played around the world. Came back, spent a little bit of time in rugby, not because I love rugby, but because it was a job and it was in Denver and I needed a job and I liked Denver. So that was a great 4 years. And then kind of it brings us into what I'll call my present, which is I spent almost a decade at Major League Soccer.
In Nashville, right?
Well, Major League Soccer, the league office is in New York. Okay. So just like the NFL, the NBA, et cetera. Okay. Major League Soccer, their league office is in New York. And so I spent, I think it was about 9 years there and got to do some very cool things with the NFL, with Manchester United, with Barcelona, you name it, as the head of international business. So I worked with all those international clubs. I worked with the Mexican national team. I worked with FIFA for competitions and tournaments. But basically what we were trying to do is figure out, how can this global game positively impact the United States? How can it positively impact our ownership in Dallas or Kansas City? Right. Yeah. And so we were figuring out those tools at the same time we were going through some rapid growth. Rapid growth of one key thing, which were stadiums. Around 2005, you started seeing more and more municipalities building stadiums. And it started in the suburbs, but now it's moved back downtown.
To the urban core.
To the urban core. As cities, you and your listeners know, are pulling people back in. And people want a mix of amenities and things that are very walkable. So that was happening. And I think one of the key changes that happened at Major League Soccer, where we went from fledgling to wildly successful, was having the right stadium environment for fans.
Yeah.
It's having the right venue, the right parking experience, the right restaurant experience, the right lights, the right heaters, whatever it may be. And you also just have, the continued internationalization of sport happening.
So how'd you end up in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, good question. So I left, one stop in between the two. I left MLS, probably would be doing that job today because I loved it.
Yeah.
As a kid from Oklahoma, who then got to go, negotiate with Manchester United or travel to the World Cup in South Africa, Brazil, Germany, you name it, for a job. It was a dream come true. It really was a dream come true. But I met some people in Nashville that were starting a professional soccer team. And in 2015, they said, we think, which they did, there was no professional team there. We think that this could be successful, but there's a lot of people saying no. Nashville is a football town, and we're the South, and we already have the Predators and Titans. The Predators are the NHL team, and the Titans are the NFL team, of course. They've got Tennessee football. They've got Vanderbilt. But the four of us, myself and the three other investors, firmly believed that if done right, soccer can be widely successful anywhere.
Yeah, and be complementary to those other sports.
And be complementary.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So we set a very high bar, very, very big ambition. The team Nashville SC went from an employee of one, which is what we have here today in Oklahoma City, or a club of one, and I as the first employee, all the way through USL, which is the division just right below MLS, to Major League Soccer. So just to kind of frame it up for people that maybe aren't as familiar, in the course of 6 years, they went from not even a full-time employee.
This is Nashville.
This
That
is
actually
in
has an
Nashville.
MLS team.
That has a MLS team now. From 2015 to 2021, they went from singular one employee, no stadium, no brand, anything, to a full-fledged Major League Soccer team that plays in a 30,000-seat stadium, has a front office of 75 people, and average close to 30,000 a game.
Think about that is only 10 years ago.
Correct.
So 10 years ago, built a stadium, developed a team, competing in one of the largest sports, international sports.
Exactly.
In Nashville.
Exactly. And the way we did it, it was really simple. One, we set really high expectations for ourselves, and therefore the community followed. And so when I met the people at Echo, and I met Christian, and I met you and others about a year and a half ago, that was part of my discussion was, if we're going to do this, we're not just going to be a soccer team in Oklahoma City. Yeah. We are going to be the best, and we are going to be the next big league team that the state has. So
love it.
That's what we're doing, and that's how I am here today. After 25 years not being back in Oklahoma, there's finally a project that I feel very fortunate to be able to apply my experience to.
It's going to happen. We'll get into the stadium here in a little bit, because obviously current MAPS 4 includes building this stadium. But I want to ask you, so the United States is hosting the World Cup.
Correct.
How instrumental is that to the success of soccer in the United States?
It will be, so in 2026, the largest sporting event in the history of the world, is the way it's being characterized, will take place in June and July. So in just a short 7 or 8 months, there will be 48 teams, more TV cameras and channels than ever have been in one spot following a sport. And then what do we do well in the U.S.? We do events really big.
Yeah.
So if you think about how soccer has changed since we hosted the 94 World Cup here in the United States to now 2026, it's night and day.
Yeah.
And so what we'll have is just this wave of fans that can attend 16 different stadiums across the US, Mexico, and Canada to see matches. The closest to ones to us here in Oklahoma City will be Dallas and Kansas City. And I believe you'll see sponsors, you'll see influencers, you'll see everyone just get on the soccer bandwagon because it is the thing to do. And when that wave crests and ultimately crashes over and we sit in August of 2026, there will be a much higher level of understanding and fandom with the sport here.
Okay, so in Oklahoma City, talk a little bit about how cities like Oklahoma City will actually benefit from that, because we'll be integrated somehow in that, whether it's practice or whatever. Talk to us a little bit about that.
No, absolutely. Fantastic question. And I give a lot of credit to the city of Oklahoma City, Visit OKC, Mayor Holt, and others that have helped us with this process. But when I started a year and a half ago, we were looking for exactly that. We know we wouldn't host games. That's fine. There's only 11 U.S. cities hosting games. But how do we bring the excitement here? So there's two ways that we're going to do that primarily. The first is we're going to have some watch parties, and we're going to bring the excitement of the global game here next June and July. That seems pretty obvious in a table stakes one. The one that really excites me is what we've been able to put together with the help of the University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, our committee, and the aforementioned folks at the city of Oklahoma City, which is we have put the state of Oklahoma has 4 options for national teams to stay here. So what they call it in FIFA is a base camp.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the geographic spread of the tournament, they're looking for, there's 48 national teams from the biggest of England, Brazil, Germany, you name it, down to some smaller ones like Curacao and maybe Jamaica or Honduras, you name it. But all those national teams are coming, and they're going to stay here for 3 to 4 weeks. And so they will bring not only 50 to 75 people with their team, but they'll bring fans, they'll bring media, they'll bring everyone from their host country, because this, again, is the world's largest sporting event.
Well, the thing about it is, it's like, actually, that's even better than just hosting a game, because they're going to be infiltrated within our society on a day-to-day basis, not just for a particular game, but be part of our community and learn a little about it, learn from them. I think that's so cool. Do we know which teams we're getting?
No, we don't know which teams we're getting yet. There is a draw on December 5th.
Okay.
Friday, December 5th. I will be at the draw. And we have received inbound requests already from 7 to 8 teams that wanted to come look at our sites. I will share one of them was the English national team.
Okay.
They were touring the Skirvin Hotel and the Fortson Hotel when they were here.
Oh, Skirvin. Skirvin's it.
They're both beautiful hotels, but I had the chance to chat with a few people and was joking with Mayor Holt. I said, we all love the Thunder and we love finals and everything that happened for sure. But just remember, if England or Brazil or one of those teams stays here, we'll have more media here for a month than the entire NBA Finals weeks that happened. It's that big of an event that's coming. So we're excited. We won't know, and ultimately the decision's not up to us.
Yeah.
But by having 4 options out of about 60 for 48 teams, I like our odds. I like our odds to get 1 or 2 of these teams.
So we're going to be playing soccer.
Yep.
In Oklahoma City. When? What season?
We had our first look at the stadium renderings with the maps for subcommittee.
Yeah.
Rave reviews. All the images have been posted now, and we're getting lots of feedback from that. And at the same time that was going on, we, as a professional club for women and men both, had a difficult decision to make. When you're starting a professional soccer team or professional club of any kind, a new pro sports team that we want to set aside the Thunder, it was really important for us to have the right fan experience from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So we are so fortunate to have worked with the city to get this additional funding for the downtown multipurpose stadium, which will be just south of Bricktown and just north of I-40 for those listening. So an area that we'll develop, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But we will begin the professional men's team in the spring of 2028.
So that'd be March, April timeframe.
Correct.
So
March of 2028.
So our first home game will be March of 2028.
March of 2028. Now, we know we've been hearing from fans since I joined and we started this movement again. People want to see OKC on the field.
Mm-hmm. So
the thing we are going to do is pull this forward a little bit. And in 2027, we are going to field an OKC U23 team that will be the precursor to the professional team launching in the downtown stadium. So
tell us
working out all those details, but
tell us what a U23. So I'd like to take a quick step back. You can get into that. So soccer is a confusing sport.
Yes.
Not only when you play soccer, the game seems like it never ends. The clock runs out, but then arbitrarily a ref steps on the field and says, "We have 4 minutes left," and it's like
but it's not even exactly 4 minutes, right? Exactly.
Yeah, he's got this private clock that he holds in his mind or in his pocket that says, "We're going to add so much." And the same with soccer, it's a little confusing about MLS versus USL and all of those things. So kind of give us a little education on the different leagues and what that means.
Yeah, let me do that. I think it's a great point, and I say this all the time. I think soccer is the beautiful game, as it's called, but it's also the confusing game because a lot of the rules just don't make sense the way it should. Even though it's very simple at its core, you've got one ball and 11 players on each side and 2 goals. That's it, right? There's no pads, there's no sticks, there's no balls, there's nothing else. But when we started this movement with Echo, partners with you guys and many others, what we pledged is that we would build a team for OKC. And let me break that down a little bit. So that means we will have women's and men's soccer as a part of what we're doing.
Love that.
The gender equity piece was really, really, really important for us. And so that, as well as cultural equity, which means we're going to reach out and include all parts of the city in what we do, were 2 of the key tenets that we had from day one. And the reason I'm answering your question this way is because that's the focus.
Yeah, okay.
Soccer is an acronym soup. And I've said this for 25 years. We're really good at confusing people outside of our world. Let me just rattle off some. We have USSF, MLS, CONCACAF, USL, U23s, FIFA, CONMEBOL, you name it. You just go on down, right?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. The acronym that matters most from day one is OKC. And so we're going to focus on ensuring that we build this club with the community's fingerprints on it from day one, and that people are a part of that build. Now, Court, answer the question, what league will you play in? Great question. On the men's side, we will start in the USL, the United Soccer League. This is a league that previously there was a team called the Energy many, many years ago that did some great stuff. They played in, but the league has really evolved. It now includes, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Phoenix. I'm sorry, Cincinnati no longer, but it's Pittsburgh, Phoenix, San Antonio, Oakland, Tampa, some real major markets for professional soccer. And they even have, now a commercial platform with CBS. So some of their biggest games are on in the afternoon on Channel 6 or Channel 9 if you're watching in Oklahoma. And the league has really, really grown. So we are excited to play at the highest level of USL. And people say all the time, hey, Court, on the men's side, will you go to MLS, Major League Soccer, like you guys did in Nashville? And this is the honest answer for everyone in Oklahoma listening. Right now, they're not expanding. And if they were, they're not going to go to OKC. We haven't earned that conversation yet. We had to earn the conversation in Nashville as well. And we did that with 3 things. 1, we have to have a stadium. We're getting that done here. 2, we have to show a proof of concept, right? And so having that proof of concept that we had 25,000 fans at our first game at Nashville SC. We actually had to move the game to the NFL stadium. And boy, did that convince a lot of people that, oh, actually this can work in the South.
Yeah. So let's stop there for just a second. So that's 2 of your 3.
Yep.
Before you get to the 3rd, it is no different than what we had with the Thunder. Because if you think about Maps 1, included a stadium that was originally built for NHL, to attract an NHL franchise. What happened? We had the opportunity to bring the Hornets from New Orleans because of Katrina. And we proved the concept.
That's right.
We had to build the stadium.
That's right.
Just like we're building the stadium with Maps 4. Proof of concept was we got the basketball team and proved that we can do it. So what you're saying is we're going to prove that we can be a big league soccer team. So it is the same path that we did with the Thunder. It
is exactly this path. And actually, Clay Bennett and I had a fun conversation where he asked how things were going. And I said, well, I'm doing a lot of the same things that you did 20 years ago, probably, laying the groundwork for this. I think that is such a fantastic analogy that Oklahoma City has invested in itself and given itself the chance to knock down number 1 and number 2. The 3rd one is where the franchise comes in. There has to be one available through expansion, through a sale, whatever. There has to be an owner for it, all those kind of things. But you're not getting to step 3 in my world, in a Major League Soccer context, until you get number 1 and 2 done. And then at the same time, we're going to explore women's soccer.
Right.
And we have those relationships that I feel very fortunate will get considered at the highest level because we have the stadium and we're going to show proof of concept.
Yeah.
So the acronym, to kind of sum this piece up, the acronym isn't as important today for the league. The acronym that's important is OKC shows up and shows well.
So let's get into the stadium and what's going to happen
Sure.
around the stadium, because that's the place, right? You gotta have a place to play.
That's it.
So excited for this new stadium. Echo and yourself purchased 9 acres. I think people need to understand the original agreement was to purchase 7.2 acres. And that 7.2 acres was to build the stadium for the multi-purpose stadium that would then also play the USL team, which would be a stadium of anywhere from 10 to 12,000 seats. Why was there 9 acres purchased?
Yeah, because we wanted the ability to grow on site.
Mm-hmm.
And I give the folks at Echo and Christian and others a lot of credit for having the foresight with the city of Oklahoma City to say, let's not just build this stadium for the next 10 years, but let's build it for the next 25, the next potentially even 50 years to get a maximum return on our civic investment.
Great. So you've unveiled the stadium today. So give us just a couple of minutes of the characteristics of the stadium and why it's positioned where it is and the features of that.
Yeah. So again, today, Wednesday, December 3rd here, it was a first look is what we shared with city officials and the MAPS 4 group. Everyone in the room was over the moon. And I would say that the features that really stand out, and, of course, listeners can hop on if they haven't already seen it, is one, we wanted to have this kind of horseshoe shape that opened up to the downtown skyline. And I think we even had a conversation about that probably a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And that coming to fruition, I think, really took the room that we just had, because people saw how this can actually be a nice, not an anchor piece, but let's call it a bookend piece with downtown and bridge that space between all the other civic investments that have been made. So you've got the Convention Center in Omni, you've got MAPS 1 and everything that was done downtown, the new Thunder Arena, Bricktown, and of course River Sport on the other side. And so we will be in the center of all that, bridging that gap. And as you're sitting in your seats, you get to look down and see all the work that's happened in downtown OKC as it's grown. I think that feature, number one, is what really excited some people. The second thing was the canopy. And the canopy, and what I mean by that is it's not a roof because it's not fully enclosed, but there is shade and protection from the wind, the rain, the sun, which we get a lot of in Oklahoma, the snow too, if you want. But 95% of the seats will be covered.
Yeah. Wow.
And so, again, a fan experience.
That's impressive. 95% of the seats
will be covered. Yeah. And so you won't have to worry about those Oklahoma elements as you're enjoying not just soccer, but you might be enjoying high school football. You might be enjoying some other kind of football, some other level, who knows? You might be enjoying rodeo or a concert.
Well, that's a great point. So tell us how many days you plan to activate that stadium on an annual basis.
Yeah. The short answer in bowl is 90 to 100. Now, let me unpack that.
That's
for
almost
one people.
Every 3 days. You have some type of event in that stadium.
Yes, one every 3 days. It won't be that exact cadence, but as we were looking at this, we always try to figure out how can this best benefit Oklahoma City? How can this best benefit us locally, nationally, and internationally? So 10,000 seats with the ability to grow probably to 15 or 16 on site. It's a good sized venue. We weren't going to be the biggest stadium ever built. We weren't going to be the most expensive stadium ever built. That wouldn't be a smart use of tax dollars or private dollars. But what we could build is the stadium that gets utilized the most. And so the way we frame this up is the busiest outdoor stadium in the country.
Okay.
We know that throughput of people coming to a high school soccer game on a Tuesday night, or a USL men's game on a Saturday, or a Kenny Chesney concert. Well, let me pick an Oklahoman maybe. Maybe a Garth Brooks or Carrie Underwood show on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Makes that area very vibrant. And so we made decisions through the design process that allow this to be highly, highly modular, highly, highly flexible, to accommodate those events and have them turn over on a short time frame.
So all this is fantastic. How important is it for what happens around the stadium to be developed?
I would say there's no degree of importance. It's a must.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must. I always love when people use the analogy about, oh, you might have the best meal you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But if the restaurant is 15 degrees too cold, or the waiter takes 30 minutes to bring you your final check, you're going to have a bad taste in your mouth, even if it was the best food you've ever had. And you might not come back. So yes, this is a home for soccer, but it's a home for all the other events that I just mentioned. And the fan experience doesn't start when you get to your seat. The fan experience begins when you set out for the day, for the event, when you get in your car to drive, when you get on the light rail, streetcar, I should say, to get there. Maybe you're walking along the river district to get into the area. It is an absolute must that 50-ish acres surrounding the 9 donated gets developed in the right order, in the right time frame, which you know far better than I do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that will create the kind of destination that Echo, Robinson Park, and all of Oklahoma City will cherish.
So think about it. 28, we're going to play our first soccer game inside the brand new stadium that's going to catapult us into the second major league sport in Oklahoma City. While 3 months later, what are we going to do? We're going to host some of the 28 Olympics. Pretty exciting times for Oklahoma City.
Incredibly exciting times for Oklahoma City. And I'll add one more. 3 months after that, probably the Thunder Arena is going to open up.
Going to open up. That's right. All within the same. Yeah.
All in the next 2-year runway that we have is just phenomenal.
Yeah. So what are you looking for? Well, first off, we're very fortunate to have you here in Oklahoma City. So really appreciate you taking this opportunity and helping us build this in Oklahoma City. You and I have a really good dear friend, Clay Moss, and he says great things about you, and he's right. I've gotten to know you. You're the cream of the crop. So thank you for being here.
Appreciate that.
5 to 7, 8 years from now, what do you want to see happen?
Look, I think this is a start. We're at the beginning here. I have so much respect for the energy and for the leadership of Donna, Tim McLaughlin, and Bob Funk, and what they did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And what they did with what Oklahoma City could do in 2013 and 14.
Mm.
But we're now Oklahoma City 25, 26, 27, 28. It's not the same Oklahoma City.
It is not.
We're more ambitious. We've got, I think, a higher horizon maybe than we had before. And the city's changed. Our school system has 2/3 Hispanic students.
Yeah.
This is their game as many as it anyway. So what do I see in 8 to 10 years? We will have the busiest outdoor stadium in the country with all those things, women's and men's soccer, football of all kinds, including high school, college, maybe even some kind of professional football, a spring football or something. We'll have rodeo. We'll have Garth and Carrie. We'll have everything going on down there.
Yeah.
And then you guys, in partnership with Robinson Park and Echo, will have made this awesome community that you and Christian and so many others, Christian Kennedy, are envisioning, where it's a place, I think it's overused to say live, work, and play.
Yeah.
I'll say it this way. This is a place people are going to want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they live there, they go there on the weekends, or they attend their son's high school soccer game on a Tuesday night, they have a place there.
Yeah.
This is a community center with a field in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to build. And this is the area beyond that community center.
I mean, our goal is to build a city within the city.
Mhm.
Ultimately, we believe over 3,000 people will live in that particular district sitting
Wow.
in that stadium.
Wow. And how many, I've asked you this before. I don't know what that looks like because I'm not in your world. The West End, down by the Fordson Hotel in that part of Oklahoma City. How many people live there?
Well, right now there's 345 units in that apartment complex.
So 2 people per unit, or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. So that's about 600 people. So you're saying it will be the equivalent of 5 of those.
It actually would be bigger than that because the goal would be to go higher.
Okay.
So around the Ford Center and the Jones Assembly, that's only a 5-story structure. And we're going to go 15 to 20 stories high.
Wow.
So you're really creating an environment that is second to none. Frankly, it'll be consistent with some of the bigger major league cities that we've seen around, whether it's in Boston, Atlanta, an LA or something like that. And I think we're going to be able to. I think we're ready. You know, a lot of people question who's going to live there, who can afford it. Oklahomans like their cars. Yes, all those things are true. But there are, I mean, you're talking 10, 15, 20 years from now. The question is, are we going to even have drive?
Yeah.
Is everything going to be a driverless car?
We have this conversation a lot about how much parking lot do we need versus
That's right.
driverless cars that may drop Mark off and then go pick Court up and then drop Court off after that. You know?
And as we're going through our planning at that particular site, we're talking about, do we have to have a heliport? Are we going to be going and being dropped off by a helicopter?
Will my wife's Amazon packages be delivered by a drone? I don't know. Look, I think, you know, again, your question, I think, is the right one, is what does it look like? I think it also, not only that vision, but it has to reflect where Oklahoma is today, where Oklahoma City is today and where it's going. And it'll be a real sense of pride. I think it'll be a real sense of pride that really began with, you know, Bricktown and what was happening there. And now it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. And I see nothing but, you know, I have a unique chair because, again, grew up here, but have lived 25 years elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we still haven't moved yet. So I still live just outside of New York City. The amount of people that approach me and say, oh, Oklahoma City, stuff's really going on there. And it's not just the Thunder. They're understanding all the other elements beyond basketball. So I think if you know, you're listening to this, it's an exciting time to be in Oklahoma City, and it's an exciting time that we probably take for granted because we've had so much growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you spend some time in some other cities, and I travel a lot, you don't have the number of ribbon cuttings that we have.
No.
You don't have, you know, 1% to 2% population growth year over year.
Yep.
That is an amazing attribute that Oklahoma City has earned.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we owe a tremendous gratitude to Bob and Tim and Donna for bringing soccer to Oklahoma City many years ago. And we're fortunate to have you in the leadership role to bring us to the next. So thank you for being here today. Any parting comments you have for us?
Yeah, thank you so much for everyone listening and the work you guys do here at Robinson Park to grow and improve our city. I would say if you're not part of this movement that we're creating around the stadium in professional soccer, go to OKC for soccer. OKC is football if you want it in Spanish.
Yeah.
And what I would encourage you is this isn't really necessarily a story about soccer. This is a story about Oklahoma City. And it's very, very, there's very few times in our lives where we get to be at the start of something.
Yeah.
And we're asking the fans to be a part of this Oklahoma City journey with us and help us pick the colors, help us pick the name, help us pick the coach, all these kind of things, because it's their team.
Yeah.
It's Oklahoma City's team.
So let's finish with this. When will we hear what the names and the colors and look like?
Late Q1, early Q2,
Okay.
2026. We're definitely having it out before the Men's World Cup comes next summer.
Okay. Thank you for being here, Court.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Appreciate you and everyone.
Yeah, thank you.